Hi, my name is Kira O'Connor, and this is Reading Arizona.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Reading Arizona. This week, we are going to Community Cornerstones, your friendly neighborhood bookstore. There are tons of local bookstore options right here in State 48. I am going to show you just a few you can add to your list the next time you go book shopping. Laura Sharp has lived in Gilbert for over a decade, raising her kids and making friends within the community. The one thing she was missing? A bookstore.
And I have raised my kids here they're now 15 and 8. And my husband and I were constantly like, when is Gilbert going to get an independent bookstore? Like when's it going to happen?
So she decided to build one.
I wanted Gilbert to have an independent bookstore. I had lived here and there was not one, and that felt like a void that our community deserves to have.
Literally a bookshop, named by her son, started as a pop-up bookstore.
So we kind of traveled around the East Valley to farmers markets and festivals and events and homeschool book fairs, and anywhere that we could put up a tent and have books available for the public, that's what we did.
What was a void to be filled became a dream come true when she opened the doors to her first physical location.
It had always been kind of a pipe dream to own a bookstore that I genuinely didn't think would ever be possible.
But it didn't happen overnight.
It's been a long search for the right spot, a spot that has some character, a spot that isn't too big, isn't too expensive, that we felt like we could stay and be here and become entrenched in the community. We wanted to be in a place where people could easily find us. It's been a long search.
At the center of everything Sharp does at Literally is the community.
I truly wanted Gilbert to have a bookstore, and when I found this little pathway of like, okay, maybe we could eke it out and we'll see what happens, and I feel like every day let's see what happens. Let's put something out there and see if other people want the same thing in the community that we do.
Some bookstores may be where you least expect them, like at an outdoor market. Twice Upon a Time Books is a pop-up bookshop. Owner Alyssa Pruitt goes to markets across the valley to bring customers books with a twist.
So I just felt like it'd be good to, marry that blind date with a book with pre-loved books together and have that kind of bit of surprise that was economically viable for a lot of people. So I felt like a $10 price point was a great place to start with a pre-loved book, and it would just be fun to look through clues and something that kind of inspires you with a clue, and that you would want to, choose a book that kind of called to you more than just the cover.
It's part juice bar, part bookstore, part gathering space, and all for the community.
I know I wanted to have a bookstore, a place for community, a place that was dedicated to building relationships, but also building knowledge, right? Educating ourselves. I knew that, the more that we learned about history, about ourselves, about, the society that we live in, the more that we educate ourselves about it, and the more that we come together, the more that we would be able to do to change it, to make it better for ourselves and those coming after us.
Grassroots Bookstore and Juice Bar is the only brick and mortar Black-owned bookstore in the valley.
It's a honor to be a steward of a space like this, no doubt. I love what we do. I love what we provide, and now more and more people are finding out about us, and so it's a great feeling from that end.
Owner Ollie Nervis says the store started in a hallway as part of the Afro Soul marketplace. 5 years later, the bookstore has grown into its own space.
It feels like that's how it's supposed to work, right? It feels like, you have a vision in your head, you have an idea, and there's a need that exists, right? This is obviously something that is needed in the community and in the city, and but if you don't have the resources and the technical know-how to do it right out of the gate, right? Sometimes you have to build slowly, right? It takes time to, for these things to formalize.
But Nervis says he doesn't want Grassroots to be the only physical Black owned bookstore in the Valley.
But yeah, it's unfortunate that it's not a. I'm not proud to be the only one. We need more. We deserve more, and there have been more.
That's the driving force behind expanding. Not only the location in Phoenix, but even opening new stores in cities across the country.
So, any city where a bookstore does not exist, especially a bookstore like this, we would love to be a part of the fabric there and a part of the solution, whether it's a Grassroots branded bookstore or it's XYZ bookstore that we just help to support and help to, move along further in the process.
You can buy a book anywhere these days. Target, Walmart, and other big box retailers are marketing to Bookish Communities. Amazon makes downloading ebooks on your Kindle or having books shipped right to your door just one click away. But the Association of American Publishers says revenue for hardback books and special bindings, think sprayed edges or new cover designs, were both up in 2023. But one thing that you won't get when you buy online? Recommendations from booksellers, who are often readers themselves.
And if you get them through the door and you provide them a level of service they haven't ever seen, maybe ever in their entire lives, if you get people in and show them that there's a shop where kind of people care about what they want and aren't just trying to sell them whatever, but are really, really interested in making you happy and feel seen and felt heard, that it would be a special opportunity for people to connect.
It's that sense of connection that drove Melody Parker, owner of Waya House in southern Tempe, to open a bookstore.
I started with Waya House, it was 2023. And I think in 2023, a lot of people had the same idea as me, which is there's something missing in our communities. There's these connection spots that are going by the wayside, either because they're kind of being gobbled out by corporate entities and just the mood has shifted, or people are just too used to being alone and having their space and their time to dictate whatever they want. And being part of a community means you have to come out of your shell. And that's scary. So having soft landing spots to encourage people to connect that maybe have a hard time leaving their cocoon or their safe space, that was very important to me.
That safe space is something Parker says she found growing up in Arizona in the 90s, something she felt was missing in her life as an adult.
It was about a space away from school, a space away from your job, from your home, where you could just be with your buddies, be with your family and talk and drink coffee and get all wired out. But I miss that. And I wanted to bring it back. But I also really, really, really love books. And I had to make that part of the equation somehow. It's more of an expensive hobby at this point.
It's one of the challenges of being an independent bookstore owner, Parker says, serving the community and making enough money to continue to do so.
We would host authors, we would host flower workshops, host birthday parties, any sort of event where we could grab people's heart, get them in there and really just show them how special this place can make people feel. We took it. And the community kind of really, really rallied behind the concept. We're really grateful for all the support and all the friendships that we've made just through the book club too, and the community book swap. It's just everything that we're doing to keep engaged. And I think the community has been very, very grateful, as we have to them. Just coexisting in the same space together at the same time. I'm going to get a little philosophical, but it is a very special moment in time, and you have to cling to people who share the same sort of hunger for knowledge and appreciation for the simple things.
And that's this week's episode of Reading Arizona. Thanks to all of the booksellers, authors, and readers that made this week's storytelling possible. Stay tuned for next week and keep reading Arizona. Kira O'Connor, 12 News.